Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Myself, Dr. Mahendra Mote, working as Assistant Professor of Animal Husbandry and Dairy Science at Research cum Development Project on Cattle, Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapith Rahuri. Friends, I have uploaded many videos regarding livestock management on my YouTube channel. Those videos are in Marathi language and are very informative for farmers community. However, many friends and students were demanding for English videos. So today I am sharing with you this video that is on effect of abiotic stress on livestock physiology. This is a very huge topic. So I have divided it into three parts and this is a first part. Friends, we all are talking about climate change and it's a very serious issue for human beings and livestock as well. Now, we will see all the points related to this topic one by one. First of all, we will see what is climate. Climate is defined as a summary of mean weather conditions over a time period, usually based on minimum 30 years of records. Thus, climate is the sum of atmospheric elements like temperature, solar radiation, humidity, clouds, precipitation, that is, type of precipitation, its frequency and amount, then atmospheric pressure and wind. It includes speed and direction. Then we also talk about climate change. So climate change can be defined as the imbalance on long term of customary weather elements of a specific region or global on Earth. Now if you see about stress, what is stress? Inability of animal to cope with its environment, a phenomenon which is often reflected in a failure to achieve genetic potential. Or stress is the cumulative detrimental effect of various factors on health and performance of animals. It can be also defined as the term stress in animal husbandry is commonly used to indicate an environmental condition that is adverse to the well-being of animal. As per David et al. 1990, the stress represents the reaction of the body to stimuli that disturb normal physiological equilibrium or homeostasis, often with detrimental effects. Now, environmental factors that impinge upon animals and lead to unexplained physiology disturbances, pathological losses, or production drops have been labeled as stress. Now, this stress or stressors can be classified into 7 groups. Those are climatic, environmental, nutritional, physiological, physical, social, and psychological. There are these stressors, those can also be the types, different types. Those are heat, that is the major stress, cold, then handling. Handling of animals is also one of the type of stress. Method of husbandry, or we can also say as a management practices, that is method of husbandry. Anesthesia and surgery, those also gives a huge stress to the animals. Then exercise, then immobilization, density, noise. Noise is also one of the stress to the animals. Then excessive day length. If we see in the summer when there is day length is more and there is heat conditions, the stress is increased. Starvation, altitude, social group, changes, population, and transportation. These all are the types of stressors, or those gives stress to the animals. If we see difference between abiotic stress and biotic stress, abiotic stress means negative impact of non-living factors on the living organism in a specific environment. And biotic stress is damage done to animals by other living organisms. Those are bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, insects, etc. Now, these abiotic stresses, as we are dealing with the abiotic stress, if we see these abiotic stresses, then there are different abiotic stresses: mechanical, temperature, water, chemicals, radiation, and pollutants. In mechanical, we can say that wind, soil movement, submergence, these are the mechanical stresses. In temperature, heat stress, cold stress, and also the chilling or frost stresses. In water, there are two different stresses. One is drought and second is flooding. In chemical stresses, there are mineral deficiency, or sometimes there are excess of minerals. The both cases are causing stresses to the animals. Then the radiation, ultraviolet and ionizing radiations. These are the two radiation stresses. Pollutants, heavy metals or pesticides, then gaseous toxins. These are also the different stresses or pollutant stresses. Now, if you see the importance of abiotic stress in livestock agriculture, global climate changing scenario would increase in frequency and severity of extreme events like droughts, heat waves, hurricanes, storms, and flood. Alteration of temperature and precipitation regimes result in spread of disease and parasites into new regions, or it could produce an increase in the incidence of disease, reduce animal productivity, and increase animal mortality. Importance of abiotic stress in livestock agriculture can be shown in this diagram. If we see abiotic stresses, what the changes it will occur in agriculture, it will reduce feed grain, or the feed grain availability will be reduced. Second, direct effect of weather and extreme events like rainfall, drought, flood, temperature, etc. Then pasture and forage production. And next is livestock diseases pattern. These all will cumulatively alter livestock production and reproduction efficiency. Now, feed grain production may benefit from warmer climate in temperate regions, as well as a result of increase in photosynthesis. It is predicted that precipitation will increase in high altitudes and decrease in most subtropical regions as much as 20%. The overall productivity of such systems, particularly in warmer climate, is lower, and direct effects of climate change on patterns of rainfall are likely to reduce production even more in the lower latitudes, that is tropics and subtropics. Now, if you see this chart, we'll see that reduced rain will cause crop production fall as well as fodder production fall. In case of crop production fall, there will be the migration of labor to earn livelihood. Then sale of assets including animal to buy food grain. And this again will cause reduced supplies of manure, changes in distribution of wealth, and it will reduce capacity to plow. In case of fodder production falls, death of animals or poor health of the animals will be there, and it will reduce supply of manure and reduce capacity to plow. This will be the effects of reduced precipitation or reduced rainfalls. Then if we see the next point, that is thermoneutral zone. Friends, all animals have a zone of thermoneutral temperatures conducive to normal functions. Below this range, animals subjected to cold stress, and above this range, there will be heat stress. For dairy cattle, this range is -6 to 25 degrees Celsius and THI below 72. Heat stress period is days when minimum air temperature is around 20 degrees Celsius and maximum air temperature is at least 31 degrees Celsius with an air humidity level higher than 60%. If you see this schematic representation showing relationship of thermal zones and temperature. So effective ambient temperatures, if you see this, there is a thermoneutral zone in which is optimum for performance of animals and their health conditions. So when there will be lower critical temperature, there will be cold stress, and where there will be the upper critical temperature, or when the temperature will rise, there will be the heat stress to the animals. And this heat stress is a very important stress among all the stresses to the animals. Now we will discuss what is the heat stress. Homothermic animals have a thermoneutral zone where normal body temperature is maintained and energy expenditure is minimal. High ambient temperature, solar radiation, and wind speed increases the effective temperature of the environment above the thermoneutral zone of livestock. Therefore, the animal's body temperature exceeds the animal's capacity for heat dissipation, and this situation is called heat stress. Now there are different signs of heat stress. Animal shows different signs when they are in heat stress. First one, crowding around water tanks or shade. Then second, it is lethargy, poor appetite, increased respiratory rate, elevated rectal temperature, elevated heart rate, immobility or aimless wandering, staggering, drooling or slobbering, open mouth breathing, collapse, non-responsiveness, seizures, and death. Now, if we see the balance between heat production and heat loss, now how this heat is produced? So, heat is produced by metabolic processes and muscular activity in animal body. And how the heat is lost? The first one, it is by the three ways, that is conduction, convection, and radiation. This is sensible heat loss. This we will see in the next slide. And second one, it is evaporative and facial and urine loss. This is insensible heat loss. Now if you see this conduction, convection and radiation, you can see here the three ways, that is heat gain from the radiant energy from the sun. If you see this red marking, that is the radiant, then heat gain by the conduction from ground or rocks if warmer than animal, or heat loss to ground or rocks if cooler than animal. This is the conduction. And what is convection? Heat loss by convection as air movement takes heat away from body surface, or heat gain if air temperature is warmer than animal. So this is the conduction, convection and radiation. Then if we see the loss of heat, then evaporation, heat loss through evaporation of sweat. Then heat loss by evaporation of water from skin and exhaled breath. And radiant heat loss from body if warmer than the environment. Then if we see the THI, temperature humidity index, this is a very important, THI is very important in the heat management. So first, temperature humidity index is the best, simplest and most practical index for measurement of environmental warmth which cause heat stress in dairy cattle. Heat stress, which usually is accompanied by a rise in air humidity, is expressed with temperature humidity index formula. Humidity is a relevant parameter because at high humidity levels, a cow can no longer or insufficiently get rid of the body heat load through sweat and respiration, and hence is far less successful in reducing her deep body temperature. Now if we see different THI, this stress level and comments. So if there is THI less than 72, there will be no stress level. If it is between 72 to 79, it is mild, and the different comments will be dairy cows will adjust by seeking shade, increasing respiration rate and dilation of the blood vessels. The effect on milk production will be minimal. Then when the THI will be between 80 to 89, the stress level will be moderate. Both saliva production and respiration rate will increase in this stage. Feed intake may depressed and water consumption will increase. There will be an increase in body temperature. Milk production and reproduction will be decreased. If the THI is between 90 to 98, then stress level it will be severe. Cows in this condition will become very uncomfortable due to high body temperature, rapid respiration, there will be panting in the animal, and excessive saliva production will be there. Milk production and reproduction will be markedly decreased. And if the THI is greater than 98, then stress level is in danger condition and potential cow deaths can occur in this condition. Now if you see here critical ambient temperatures and temperature zones for optimal performance and nominal performance losses in cattle. So variations in health and general physical conditions, acclimation to seasonal conditions, adequacy of feed and water, freedom from parasites and other pests, and thermal factors other than temperature can alter the response of individual animals. So you can see here when the temperature rises from 0 to 30 degrees or 25 degrees, what is the condition here? And if it is reduced from 0 to minus 15, then we can see here the losses, how much losses are there in case of dairy cow. So there will be loss in milk, that is in different categories, that is it depends upon the temperature how much it is increased, and there is the loss of milk production per day. Then this is a schematic representation of animal responses to potential environmental stressors that can influence performance, health, and well-being. Now, if we see the potential environmental stresses, so what will be the animal response when when there is a normal behavior, normal immunity, and normal physiology will be there when there are the normal temperatures. And in case of stresses, the behavior will be disrupted, immunity will be impaired, and physiology will be impaired. And these will be the conditions. So, friends, this was all about the first part. If you like the information given in this video, please do not forget to like the video and do subscribe my channel for further updates. We'll see you in part 2 and part 3. Thank you very much.